Hello, my name is Mary Ann Ortiz, and I am doing a video response for 5.4 Intro to Trauma-Informed Practices, Secondary Traumatic Stress, and the Trauma We Don't See. I actually selected option 2, Confronting Inequity and the Trauma We Don't See. I read the 19 through 28. And as I reflect, I'll just combine everything together. So the first thing I want to say is my quote that I chose from Dr. Bruce Perry. "We ignore the emotional needs of young children at our peril." I chose that quote because Bruce Perry has done a lot of research, or Dr. Bruce Perry, on young children. In fact, he is the one that most of my child development instructors have pointed us to, as he does a lot of research on cognitive development, brain development, social and emotional development. And so I really love his connection to getting us to understand, getting us to understand the trauma and what goes on in the life of children, and not just the healthy children that are loving and always do well. It's about the ones that are struggling the most, the ones who experience the most trauma. When I look at the article that we read, I see the challenges that we as teachers have. And when you look at the numbers of teacher injuries, 1,789, and 72% of those was at the hands of students. I work in middle school currently. My goal is to be a first grade teacher, but in my experience, I've seen kids that you would never expect behaving in ways that you didn't anticipate, like just, throwing a chair out the window. I've seen that, fighting. The sweetest girl, then 2 days later you hear about her jumping another girl. And so there are just different things that are going on in the lives of children. And as the article talks about, is manifesting in different ways in their behaviors. The article, and I'm combining both, the article by Dennis Simmons, "The Trauma We Don't See," actually says that students will exhibit the signs of trauma in different ways. And when we're thinking about children of color, which is, for me, very important, I really want to not necessarily work in schools where there's, a majority of children of color. I don't mind where I work, but I realize that I want to learn more about of what is going on in this area, because, we're in the Central Valley and this is our reality. And, even though I'm Hispanic, my background and everything I've gone through doesn't necessarily mean that I know what every other Mexican girl is going through. So that's why I want to learn more about this. I want to learn more about our African American community. And my family's Afro Hispanic. My children are biracial, and I don't pretend to know everything that everyone goes through. So this is why I really like this article, because it gives you insight into issues with children of color. It talks how we can support their lives and the different scars, and to care and love and help them in the healing process. It talks about how we can engage in recognizing these diverse manifestations of trauma, and how we can support our students, and we can hone in on their gifts, and we can meet their needs, and we can be consistent, and we can set boundaries, and we can just really help them to get the mental health services that they need if they fit into the category of some of the students that do have these behavior issues. Going back to the main article, it talks about how we need to be retrained, and we need to re-envision how we're going to interact with students and their families and one another for effective learning environments. And I just want to close in saying that I learned so much from the 2 articles that I read, because we can't ever think we know everything just because we've experienced certain things or we've worked in certain place. We need to to be lifelong learners and continue to try and understand what is going on in the children in this generation and in the children in our classrooms and communities that we work in. Thank you.